One of the viewers of this channel asked me my thoughts on LaVeyan Satanism in the comments section. Uh, Personally, I don't have any dislike towards LaVeyan Satanism. LaVeyan Satanists might be a different story. I was actually raised as a LaVeyan Satanist by my father, who was a LaVeyan Satanist, but there were other people that, pushed me in other directions. For example, his father was an Episcopal minister that was originally an RLDS Mormon that converted to the Episcopal religion and became first a chaplain in the army and then later a minister. And he actually was the one that first showed me that Christianity is a religion of action. It is not even a religion, it is a system of action, not a system of faith or belief. And that is actually, he's actually one of the reasons that my grandfather is, that I actually had such thorough disdain for Christianity. It wasn't until I met somebody that I saw that it was not disdain for Christianity, but disdain for phony baloney Christians. As for Satanism, one of the biggest problems, two of the biggest problems with Satanism, in my opinion, is its support of homosexuality and its support of magic, ritual magic. And the reason, and I'll go into it like this, the homosexuality thing is an issue in the sense that LaVey himself does not make up his mind on what he is. I actually believe it's the Satanic Rituals. I used to own all of LaVey's books. I still own some of them. Where he says, if being a fascist means that I support a world in which men act like men and women act like women, then indeed I am a fascist. LaVey contradicted himself a lot on the homosexuality question. He also contradicted himself on the question of God. In the Satanic Bible, as people will note from my other video, his interpretation of God was as the force of nature, which basically animates, sustains life, and is the balance factor in nature. Then he later switched that to, we don't believe in God. So the Satanic Bible disagrees with a lot of later statements. Then further, the other thing is the magic question. In the Satanic Bible, it's quite confused because in parts of it where he borrows from Ragnar Redbeard was against paganism. Anton LaVey was against neo-paganism, but in a sense, Satanism does borrow a lot from neo-paganism and even borrows the deities of various pantheons. But this is where it gets really confusing with Satanism. LaVey refers to magic both as an intellectual decompression chamber that has no purpose, and except to relieve the anxieties of the magician, and he simultaneously refers to magic as real. So what you have going on there is you have a lot of contradiction in LaVeyan Satanism. My view is that Ragnar Redbeard's book, Might is Right, and the collective works of Ayn Rand, not Friedrich Nietzsche. Everybody's hard for Nietzsche. Nietzsche is an inferior philosopher to Ayn Rand, and I think anybody that's familiar with objectivism and Nietzscheism will guaranteed, I guarantee they will see the fact that Ayn Rand's objectivism is far more similar to reality than Nietzscheism. But more importantly, Ayn Rand's philosophy is usable in everyday life, whereas Nietzscheism is just kind of kooky. But getting back to what I was going on, basically what LaVey's philosophy was, despite all of his talk about Nietzscheism and all this, all he took from Nietzscheism was God is dead, la 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 la. But primarily Satanism is a merger of Ayn Rand's objectivism and, and Ragnar Redbeard's book, Might is Right. Ragnar Redbeard's book, Might is Right, is a gem, and everybody should read Might is Right by Ragnar Redbeard. I do not subscribe to LaVeyan Satanism for the simple fact that the average LaVeyan Satanist, like the average Christian or the average practitioner of most religions, does not understand their own religion and kind of just uses their religion to justify their own stupidity. That's why I do not call myself a LaVeyan Satanist. I call myself a scientific pantheist. I would call myself a cosmotheist, except there's a lot of goofballs that subscribe to that. But technically I would be a cosmotheist, but I call myself a scientific pantheist, which is kind of like a non-denominational cosmotheist. But that's my views on LaVeyan Satanism.